Francisca cried all through the night. She could not believe what she saw with her own eyes. The man she kept herself for, Oliver, was in bed with another woman. And not just any woman. It was Catherine, the pastor's daughter. She stayed indoors the whole day, crying and thinking about everything. She didn't talk to anyone. Her phone rang several times, but she ignored the calls. She didn't want to hear any excuses. Her heart was broken. She didn't even know who to blame anymore, Oliver or Pastor Bob. But deep down, she knew the pastor had something to do with it. By evening, Francisca wiped her tears and stood up. She looked at herself in the mirror and shook her head. "I can't continue like this," she said. "I must face Pastor Bob. He will explain everything to me." She changed into a simple dress and picked up her handbag. She walked out of the house without telling anyone where she was going. Her heart was beating fast, but she was ready. She took a taxi to the church. The security man greeted her at the gate, and she asked if Pastor Bob was in his office. The man nodded and opened the gate. Francisca walked into the pastor's office without knocking. Pastor Bob looked up and smiled when he saw her. "Francisca, my daughter," he said. But Francisca did not smile. She stood at the door and looked at him. "Sir, I came here to tell you what your daughter did. I caught Catherine sleeping with my fiancé," she said. The pastor did not look surprised. He leaned back in his chair and smiled again. "Yes, I know," he replied calmly. Francisca's eyes widened in shock. "You know?" she asked. "Yes, I sent her there," the pastor said without fear. Francisca stood still, confused. "Why would you do that?" she asked. "Because you are mine, Francisca," the pastor said. "You have no business with another man. I made you special. You belong to me." Francisca could not believe her ears. "Are you truly a man of God?" she asked. The pastor laughed. "Don't ask questions you don't want answers to," he said. "Just remember what I told you. If you sleep with another man, you will die. That's the covenant we made. And you will obey forever." Francisca shook her head and turned to leave. She couldn't stand him anymore. As she walked out of the church compound, her legs felt weak. She could not believe that the man who claimed to be her spiritual father was the one destroying her life. She entered a taxi and went home in silence. She didn't cry this time. She was too angry to cry. Her eyes were dry, and her heart was boiling. How could he say she belonged to him? What right did he have to stop her from living her life? And what kind of pastor would send his own daughter to sleep with another woman's fiancé? When Francisca got home, she ignored the people in the compound. Someone greeted her, but she didn't answer. She walked straight to her room and locked the door behind her. She sat on the bed, thinking deeply. She remembered all the years she wasted being loyal to a man who never planned to marry her. She remembered how many times she refused Oliver just to obey the pastor. And now, Oliver was sleeping with the pastor's daughter. Everything was now clear to her. The pastor had been using her. And now, he wanted to ruin her completely. Francisca laid on the bed, staring at the ceiling. She was not going to cry again. She had made up her mind. "This man must pay for everything," she said. "He will not go free." But she didn't know how to fight a powerful pastor. He was loved by many. People respected him. They didn't know what he was doing behind closed doors. They didn't know the kind of man he truly was. But Francisca knew. She had seen the truth. And she was ready to expose him. She just needed to find a way to do it. Her phone rang again, but she ignored it. She didn't want to talk to anyone. She needed time to think. She looked around her room and felt empty. Everything felt like a lie. Her dreams, her plans, her love, all of them had been shattered. But she was not ready to give up. She would rise again. She would find her strength. And when she did, she would bring down Pastor Bob. She would make sure no other girl would fall into his trap. She was tired of being afraid. It was time to fight back. She stood up from the bed and walked to the mirror. She looked at her reflection and nodded slowly. I will not be weak anymore, she whispered. I will not let fear control me. I will not let a fake pastor ruin my life. She went back to the bed and sat down. She picked up her phone and started typing a message. She was thinking of someone she could trust, someone who would believe her and help her expose the pastor. But she was not sure who. She needed to be careful. She needed a plan. Francisca finally dropped her phone and lay back on the bed. Her eyes were open, but she was not looking at anything. She was thinking deeply. Her heart was troubled, but she was stronger now. She had seen the truth, and she was ready to act. No matter how long it took, she would make Pastor Bob answer for what he did. She would no longer be his prisoner. She would take her freedom back. As she closed her eyes, she whispered again, "He will pay." And with that, she drifted into a deep sleep, locked inside her room. To be continued.